Hello, I'm Marc, host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and this is a special series during this COVID crisis where we'll be sharing the learnings, best practices, and failures and successes of all the channel leaders throughout the tech industry. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. Hi, I'm Marc, I'm the host of the Channel Chat podcast show, and today I have John DeLozier, the Senior VP of Global Channels by 8. How are you doing, John? Or JD, I should say.
Yeah, Mr. Sumner, finally we've made it happen. Thank you, sir. So nice to be here today.
Yeah, thanks very much. Thanks so much. So, John, look, I don't want to sort of concentrate on prices. Obviously, that's been well documented and well talked about. I want to talk about potentially what's going to happen post-COVID and thoughts on that. So, obviously, having a single platform strategy, I think most people would have wanted that 6 or 7 weeks ago, and if they were prepared for it, they'd have loved it. So, just stick by and sort of tipped over sort of 20 million users, really. So that's pretty impressive. So I wanted to first find out, what are you seeing from customers you're engaged with on a day-to-day basis? What's been the feedback?
Yeah, it's been, look, our CEO, Vic Verma, called it the golden age of communications for all the wrong reasons. And boy, hasn't it been for you and for me. Our customers, it's really a crazy thing. We're custom built for this. We're a cloud platform, all about X Series. We're partner first organization, we deliver reliable, secure, applications via the cloud, via 8x8, but it was literally invented for the cloud, for remote working, collaboration, online meetings, the thing we're doing right now. This is literally what 8x8 is all about. And so for us, with this horrible pandemic that's captured the world, this is going to sound a little callous, and I don't mean it that way at all. It's kind of business as usual. This is how we communicate. This is how we do it. Now, I mean, Marc, don't get me wrong. I love being in the UK. I love being in ANZ. I love being at the restaurant down the street here in Florida. However, there hasn't been much of a beat missed here. So from a customer perspective and partners, we're seeing the ones that were travel related, the ones that were involved in anything in hospitality, those kinds of things truly fall off the radar. But there's so much more opportunity based on this current environment with customers and partners that have had to pivot. So it's, we've been pretty darn busy.
So communication platforms are now going to be, they're going to be imperative, aren't they, for most businesses now, especially during this crisis. Are you seeing that across all sectors? Every sort of all sectors coming to you for these sort of demands?
Yeah, we are. It's across all sectors, across all verticals, across all horizontals, whether it's small business, enterprise, et cetera. We think again, with this concept we're talking about, that communications are forever changed. Just like, a horrible comparison, but a really good one, horrible event, really good comparison is 9/11 here in the US. 9/11 changed air travel forever. Right? It used to be, I would jump on that airplane with my hair wet 30 minutes before the flight took off, drinking my coffee to wherever I was going, right? Now, if you don't get to the airport, especially going international a couple hours early, you're in big trouble. It's the same with communications, except it's like it hit every sector, every part of the world. And so from a communications perspective, we think commercial real estate might have been the first place you would start when you were starting your business back in the day. Now we think it's a reliable, secure, integrated communications platform will be priority number one.
Definitely, yeah, 100%, 100%. And are you sort of business owners who have sort of been forced to adopt these new approaches now to sort of continue business operations? Are you seeing that as the priority now for customers making a secure platform?
Yes, absolutely. I think partners and suppliers like us, master agents, VARs, et cetera, they're in the perfect position to, look, you don't have to apologize because you have a warehouse full of water during a drought. And that is exactly where we are today from a communications platform perspective. And I do believe that one of the first questions out of the gate these days as companies plan on getting into business or reload their business strategies, et cetera, will be, do we have that reliable, secure, integrated collaboration platform to make business happen? I think it's number one.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think, you mentioned it earlier about, are we entering a communication? And I don't think that's sort of being distasteful, because I think, the communication tools were always there. People weren't using them, but this is going to be like business as usual? People are going to all the time over video platforms like this?
I believe it. I don't do, look, we're on video right now. I don't do a call. I don't do a meeting during the day that I'm not on video. It feels so weird. And, one of the sales pitches, for example, for us here at 8x8, and I'm sure at the competitors' offices, they feel the same way. It's that old school. Remember when you used to get on the conference calls? Hey, Mark, are you there? Can you hear me? Are you there? Who else is on? We just don't say stuff like that anymore because we are on this integrated video meeting, taking advantage sometimes of contact center, of this persistent nature of a meeting, showing documents, sharing documents, recording our meeting because two of our colleagues couldn't make it. And so they get to go watch exactly what we talked about and look at the same documents. So yeah, Mark, I believe it has changed. I don't think there's any going back. Somebody used to say the toothpaste is out of the tube. And I believe that's exactly where we are, communications-wise.
Do you think, obviously, business has got to continue, John, isn't it? There's a lot of trepidation in the market. Business has got to continue, and new business has got to continue. What are you seeing around sort of customers implementing sort of communications to support home workers?
Yeah, it's just gone through the roof. Of course, you mentioned to me when we jumped on the call, we just eclipsed, 20 million users on our collaboration platform, which is a really big deal over here. Yeah, it's incredible. And I think that if you're at a school, I think that if you're working mortgages or you're in the communications business, I think that this kind of communication, healthcare, oh my gosh, telemedicine, I mean, you want to talk about relevancy today in this kind of platform. We're just seeing it across the board. And we've never been more busy here at 8x8. And I think that a lot of companies in our position can say that. We are trying to enable customers to continue their businesses and also, after this is all over, thrive in their businesses based on this. Yeah. Look, my own boss, our CEO, Vic Verma, just said this to me on a call the other day. He looked at us on the call. He's invested in these beautiful buildings all over the world and all of this gorgeous real estate. And he's looking at us saying, hey guys, we haven't missed a beat. And I'm feeling like, man, that might have been a mistake. Now, Human interaction, this. Human interaction is critical. And you and I being able to go break some bread together, maybe have a pint, I'm just saying. But whatever that is, those things are important. But honestly, we're not missing much right now, are we? I can see you. You can see me. I can tell the nuances of the conversation. And I can share with you on the fly. So, it's good stuff.
Do you think, John? Obviously, we knew we had these tools available. We knew about these tools. We knew there was video conferencing. It's not a new thing, and yet because we've been forced to do it, most people are now forced to do video. I'd be dialing into conference calls and trying to work out the pin. It's so much easier with this. It is so much easier. Why do you think people needed a crisis to be forced into using these collaboration tools?
Such a great question. Such a great question. Would it be terrific if we could predict that next thing, right? Because I don't think anybody saw this coming. Vic always says to me, never waste a crisis. And, Mark, I can't answer that question. I don't know the real reason. I think part of me says that there's fear of the unknown. Like, I think that folks just didn't understand video. As simple as it seems now, and as simple as a part of life as it is now, look at products. Look how products, I'm a music guy, right? How we've gone from 8-track tapes, then to cassettes, and then to CDs, and then to online services. And now you don't even keep it on your PC because it's in the cloud, right? I was very reluctant to leave the cassette world to the CD world. I was very reluctant to give up my CD collection for all of these, music files now that I can save on a hard drive. Why? It's way more efficient. The music quality is way more clear, et cetera. I think it's fear of the unknown. And I think that now that we've come over that chasm and walked through that Jeffrey Moore theory, where enterprises are realizing, small businesses are realizing that it makes sense and that you could be just as productive, I don't think we ever go back.
Do you think, obviously, your business, would thrive in a market like this? No one, everyone would love to be in your business at the moment. It's obviously a great platform, etc. Do you think it'll adjust how you work yourself? I.e., traveling expenses. Most companies have gone down through the roof. They're not traveling. They can't go away, etc. Do you think it will naturally change that as well? People won't be breaking bread. People won't be going out and meeting for a beer. They'll actually do less traveling now because of it.
I think that my feeling will be that as we slowly creep back into it globally, I think you'll see a little bit of a surge because everybody's been trapped, inside for so long, and it will be good to get out. That said, I do believe that remote workers, remember how when it all kind of came to be a few years ago, people were talking about casual Friday. Remember, hey, Friday, guess what, Mark? You can wear your T-shirt today, and you get to work from home. I think those days are long over. I think it'll be the opposite. I think, hey, I might be on the office on a Monday because we're having some pretty big meetings around the conference table. I want to see everybody, have a cup of coffee. But for the most part, I can be just as efficient, if not more efficient, here at home. I do not think we'll ever go back. I just don't believe it.
So you literally think, obviously, we've gone from we've been forced to work from home. Obviously, people, I think you're right. People are, for me, I started enjoying working from home, and I'm thinking, God, I'm actually desperate to get back in the office. But I do think I have enjoyed the videos more than anything. I just thinking, I'm looking at meetings, I'm thinking, do I want to go to that London meeting, 2 hours traveling there, 2 hours traveling back, or can I just do a video meeting and be as effective? It can't be perfect, but you can get that body language, you can get how someone's getting on, etc. I think there's a lot to be said for it, and yet people weren't using it. And I think, will they creep back into those old methods, or do you think this will be the new norm now?
Yeah, I think it's going to be somewhere. My personal opinion is it will be somewhere in between. And like you just mentioned, you're looking forward to getting back to the office. Well, what if you didn't have an office to go back to? That's the key. I think a lot of the companies now, a lot of the businesses now are going to be very skeptical about dropping down 10-year leases to fill buildings up with hundreds and hundreds of people. Could you imagine doing it yourself? I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. So
I've got a 22-man office, and I thought next year I was going to go to a 40-man office, and now I'm thinking, even if I had 45 staff, I could still get them in the 22-man office because people work from home, etc. And I think that agile IT is going to come in more and more and more. Do you think there's, again, you touched on it already about people changing and reluctant to change? Do you think there was an element of not trusting the employees from home and not thinking they're actually going to be doing anything? So out of sight, out of mind, I don't know what they're going to do, and there was a real reluctance around that.
I 100% think that was part of it, and I cannot believe the studies. They're very readily available. Bloomberg just did a really good one on a couple friends of mine over at Intel, where they talk about the productivity of working at home has going up on average 15% globally. Now think about this for a second. If you're a guy like me who can never turn it off, right? I love 8x8. I run the globe in terms of the channel sales organization, et cetera. And what I find myself doing is flipping the PC on and seeing what's going on, who's online, what emails have I received, is there something I can work on now? And suddenly it's a 12-hour day when it used to be a 9-hour day. And so the productivity, I think, now the burnout rate follows that as well. So there's a couple really interesting articles on this, but I think that we're past it. I know for me at my position and at our level, I'm sure for you as well, is there's less fear that we're going to sit around all day and watch, MTV and eat Doritos. So, I think that it's more of, hey, we're jumping in there probably more than we even should. So it's hard to put it down.
Yeah, do you know what? Actually, I was actually really surprised. I've worked harder now during COVID than I ever did before, and that's not just a crisis. It's almost like I've got collaboration tools, I've got access to email, I've got Wi-Fi. I'm not really going out. I'm not traveling. I'm not going out for lunch breaks. I'm actually just stacking it through for like 10 hours, 12 hours, which may be not a good thing, but stacking it through 12 hours and then just feeling, right, actually, I'll put a real shift in there. So productivity has gone through the roof. I absolutely agree with you.
Well, think about this.
No doubt.
Think about this for 1 second. This is crazy. It used to be, right? I'm old school, right? In that I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm 49 years old. I remember what it was like to not have a cell phone. And right when I started in the gig. And I also remember what it's like to pass out business cards at an office park and have some change in my pocket in case somebody paged me that I could get back to them. We got our first fax machine and I freaked out. I couldn't believe it, right? Now, think about all that and think about this. You and I met literally online, which sounds a little goofy, but you know what I mean. We met online on LinkedIn. I've admired your work and seen your work from afar and vice versa. We've connected, we've come together, and we've done this podcast, which probably will be the start of many, many, many more. Think about that. And now we're talking together. We've just met on a video call. I definitely, if you walked in tomorrow, would know who you were and would feel like we know each other. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I haven't had to get on the flight. I haven't had to shake your hand. All that, you're right, John. All those things. It is nuts. It is nuts. But do you know what? If businesses can now adopt to that and think actually, and I know it's. I don't like to say it's distasteful in this crisis because people are losing their lives. But if there's anything good to happen out of it, the opportunity people could see to actually say, do you know what? I can deal with a Miami company. I can deal with this company. I don't have to get a flight to Cape Town. I can actually deal with these companies and actually engage with them and have a proper conversation and collaborate with them. And I don't have to leave my home or my office or whatever it is. And I think that if people could see that as a massive opportunity now, I know everyone thought the globe was getting smaller, but my God, it's got really small now because we're all affected by this. And I really see it as an opportunity for people. So hopefully they can embrace that. And obviously your platform, which is a great platform, is going to be helping companies like that. One thing I wanted to sort of say, so subscribing obviously for you is obviously gone drastically up. Are you pressing forward with your plans for hiring? I noticed sort of Steve Harrison in the UK, he posted a job out for, but are you pressing forward sort of hiring in your plans and your growth strategies?
Absolutely. Our strategy hasn't changed. In fact, it's probably even just gotten more and more enhanced. We still believe people buy from people, and we definitely believe that whether you're in our North American theater or you're in our European theater, which is anchored by the UK, ANZ, obviously with our Wavecell acquisition, et cetera, that people buy from people. And so for us, it's the expansion has not stopped in any way, shape, or form. We've in the last 6 quarters tripled the size of my organization, and we have no plans on stopping. How we do it is different. And it goes back to the conversation that you and I just had, which is there's an efficient, effective way to do it. Doesn't mean it's going to stop anybody and everybody from doing the annual events and going out for a dinner. I don't think it will. But I think it's really important to always remember the relational element. It's funny. I was thinking about this the other day as well. I've done a lot of speaking, as you know. And one of the conversations that I had one time was I really compared and contrasted the fact that as a business, that enterprise businesses always follow consumer. You look at the capabilities of the iPhone. That's what I sell, on a global scale on an X series platform here at 8x8. The capability to do voice, to do video, to even do contact center, et cetera, et cetera. And it's interesting to me because what we're doing isn't new. I have 2 daughters, one 22, one 21. And I remember when texting and Facebook came into play right in their sweet spot in high school, those 2 would sit in the back seat of the car and text each other. And I would look back and I go, why are you not talking? They would meet people online on Facebook. Now Instagram is the big one, right? But I'm telling you, friend groups would expand. Whereas when I was a kid, I met somebody at summer camp, had to write them a letter with a stamp on it and wait 3 weeks for a letter to come back, right? We're doing the same thing. It's almost like now we're doing it again, golden age of communications for all the wrong reasons. I'm not happy about the reason we got here. None of us are, but we're here. And isn't it interesting how it's kind of followed consumer? So I don't know. I might have to write something about that.
Yeah. John, security is now a potentially big threat. So there's a lot of people that haven't been able to get on their data centers and whilst they were aware of security before, it might not have been on their radar. Now it's on their radar. They're thinking, Christ, I can't get in my security. That people are emailing me or, pretending to be other people, etc. The hackers aren't giving us a break. What are you seeing from your customers in trying to protect themselves while we're doing this sort of crisis and we're using more communication tools?
Yeah, let me tell you, I think security and reliability, I don't know which one comes first, maybe chicken or the egg there, but when customers are figuring out what they want to put in place in this also critical communications platform in this world we're in today, security is of the most importance. And some of our competitors have had a hard time with that. So it's very, very, very important that you're a secure platform. And I think the reliability comes right behind it. For us, we remember that we built this cloud platform from scratch, fit for purpose. Those smart engineers went into the labs years and years and years ago. And I love what they did because they encrypted our platform literally from point A to point Z and beyond. So full encryption across the board. Security, very, very, very important. And we're getting that question from chief security officers, from IT managers, depending on the level, the size of the business, right out of the gate. Tell me why your platform's secure, show it to me, and then we get on with it and get on with the conversation. But I think today's security is number one.
Is that the first question they're asking? Almost like, it's great that you've got some fancy platform, but is it going to be secure?
Yeah, we like your platform. We love that you bring everything to one place with X Series at 8x8. We love that. We love the red lights and the green blinky lights. They're very, very cool. But are you secure? Are you secure? And tell me why. Absolutely. It comes up every time.
Really? Yeah, I bet it does. And John, for you personally, whether this managing your team or in your company, what learnings will you adopt now for 8x8 sort of moving forward post-COVID?
Well, we're doing a lot of the things we did before, but maybe with a little more focus on it. For example, with the 8x8 platform, from a collaboration and meeting standpoint, I can put everybody on the screen together. We can all see each other, just like we're talking right now. We can share our documents together. We can tell stories together. We can laugh together. Sometimes we have to cry together, but it's a great way to keep everybody super duper connected. I don't do one of my leadership meetings, nor do my lieutenants globally. And that's Keith Jackson in the UK, Michelle Marlin in Australia. They don't do those meetings without having everybody on that platform together. It's a requirement. And oh, by the way, here's something else interesting. Don't join the platform and not turn on your video. So I don't care if you're in your bunny slippers and in a pair of shorts, but from here up, you got your beautiful t-shirt or your polo shirt on. That's all great, but you got to be on video. We want to see each other. And so I think that's a place where that will never change. We have a level of communication that we come to expect. And oh, by the way, like right now, I don't know how many thousands of miles away from you I am, but it's a lot. And we're able to just jump on and have a conversation like this. I don't think it ever changes.
Yeah, because there was a lot of people, John, that would go on the video calls and then not turn their cameras on, wouldn't they?
Or dial in. It defeats the purpose. Yeah. And by the way, let me just throw this out to you. Not so much with us because we are obviously 8x8 and we have a platform that we sell, et cetera. But I will tell you that there are a majority of the people out there would just simply dial in to our collaboration meeting. And now I make sure that they know if we're meeting together, we're going to use our platform because it's secure and it's reliable. But also, when we use that platform, I need to see you. So don't dial in, log in, join the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think, John, this will be the sort of the death of the external salesperson? And what I might mean by that is there's some people very confident face-to-face, but maybe they're not so confident using video or these sort of platforms. Do you think it'll be the death of that person? They'll have to sort of
I don't believe that. Here's why. I think the skill set is still the same. You just have to learn a little bit of technology. Am I going to close a 3-year, $80 million deal without ever meeting the people that are signing the deal? I don't think so. Yeah. I don't see it. Now, could I close a few mid-market deals and some commercial deals and maybe even some smaller enterprise deals? Yeah, you probably could. And oh, by the way, after you have that relationship established, it'll probably be a lot easier. But I do believe that, again, the wheel's been jerked to the right big time based on this pandemic. I don't think it gets jerked back to the left, but I also think that it's going to stay a little more towards that middle right. I think we'll do a lot more of this together.
Yeah, I definitely think you're right. I don't think it's going to go back to a hybrid between when they say that everyone's go back in the offices. A lot of the business owners that I'm hearing and speaking to, and a lot of the reseller partners I'm speaking to are saying, actually, when COVID lifts the ban, I'll let people to come back in. They don't have to. They can still work from home. And I never thought I'd hear that. I'd never thought they'd actually say, look, I'm actually going to give them the option now. It's okay. If you've given the option to sort of say, can I work from home or not? and the bosses are saying, yeah, okay. And there was some really rigid companies in the UK that were very, very anti that. And obviously these sort of platforms now, video conferencing platforms, has made it easier, which we all knew about. Forced to use, we're now thinking, damn, we need to actually start adjusting to it. So it's really interesting.
That's right.
So my last question for you, John, and I know you're not a world health expert, I know that, but I am really interested to see what your view is over the next 3 to 6 months. Where do you see the market going, and where do you see the sort of IT channel going to happen, and 8x8 in general, how that's going to pan out for the next sort of 3 to 6 months?
Well, the first thing is I don't think anything happens quickly. I think that we were all under this auspice. Okay, flip the switch back on. It's back to normal. That switch doesn't exist, and nobody can predict, especially regionally, where that's going to happen. So I think we ease back into this thing, and I'm also not convinced that there won't be a second wave. Right, like you said, we're not experts. Now, I'm an optimist, and I always believe in the positive, but I believe that this was going to take a while. I would be reluctant. I'm certainly personally not going to travel for the next 60 days. And, even booking travel out past the 60 days makes me a little nervous. It's kind of like, man, really? Are we sure? It's going to come back. So I think we're going to ease back into this thing. I will tell you, in the U.S., it's very similar to the UK. Schools have been canceled for the remainder of the year. My lovely daughter, who's worked her tail off for 4 years at university, doesn't get to walk for commencement because they're not having a graduation. I think that it's sad. It's a new world. So I believe that it's going to take a little bit of time, especially for international travel. I really miss my friends in the UK. I try to be there at least once a quarter, and the incredible Keith Jackson at 8x8, who I'm sure you'll connect with, et cetera. So I just think it's going to take a little time. I think it is a new normal. I think we're going to enjoy this working from home thing. I think guys like you and I are definitely antsy to get back out there, but I don't think we would do it at the peril of our families or our own personal health. So we shall see what happens as we move forward. But I, again, don't think it's going to be just a black and white thing. I think we're going to ease right back into it.
Yeah, brilliant. John, you've been a fantastic guest. Thanks so much for your time. Thanks for joining us and listening to another episode of our Channel Chat podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard and are listening on iTunes, please could you give us a review and subscribe in order to get the newest episodes as soon as they're released. Otherwise, as always, we release an episode every Thursday at midday, so hopefully you can join us then.